way to start things off here. So with our first player up here in the top left, it is going to be State as our blue Protoss. And down in the bottom right, it is going to be the red Protoss representative. We saw him actually in a very impressive series last night. It is going to be Huck.
Right, PvP to start things off with. We had a very interesting PvP, I believe, in the European qualifier for, now to remember, DreamHack Tours yesterday.
I mean, in both of them, both NA and EU. So, yes. PvP here to start things off for the North American qualifier for DreamHack Austin is a good way to kick things off.
Yeah. And the one I was thinking of, that was actually the losers bracket finals in the European region. Of course, that is Mana versus Showtime. That was a fantastic end to the series. If you guys missed it, you better watch the VODs because that was pretty crazy. But yes, now we have another event, of course. So if you guys are still looking for the DreamHack Tours, we have already had both the qualifiers for that. And today, it's time for Austin.
Yeah, many DreamHacks right now.
Yeah, the first DreamHack hitting North America.
Yeah, that's
how hype isn't that?
Yeah, that's really cool. And you know, on top of that, DreamHack recently announced that there is going to be a Canadian event as well. So right now, 2 events on the North American continent. That's going to be really exciting. And I'm very happy actually that so many fans that have been restricted, you know, because they're stuck up there. It's really far to travel to Europe.
Yeah,
very
expensive.
Esports
nation of Europe.
Yeah, I mean, it's expensive. It takes a lot of time. And, you know, if you have a job, you won't always get that leave that you're looking for and stuff like that. So now, having an event back at home, or closer to home rather, for the North American fans, that's going to be really exciting.
Definitely. Now, of course, I'm actually pretty hyped for this. I probably won't be able to attend because I live all the way here in Sweden. But I'm definitely...
Don't say that.
Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? But I will definitely be checking out those games. So many great players here in the North American region. We've seen already quite a few games being played. So, of course, we're kind of jumping in here a bit into the qualifiers. Do you keep track of exactly which round it is? Because I do know we're like, I think this is like the 2nd round in the winners bracket.
Yes, that is correct. And yeah, it's going to be best of 3s today to start things off. We'll see if we go into those BO5s a little later on. But for now, just a very slow start to this Protoss versus Protoss. And this is something that we've always seen very regularly, going to 2 Adepts, follow that up by 2 Stalkers. One player decides to go for the tech. That is going to be State, who went for that Stargate into a Nexus. And Huck on the other side, because he got his Nexus blocked, dropping that 3rd gateway.
And there we go, finally, Huck cleaning up the pylon. And here comes State in with his first 2 Adepts, a bit earlier than Huck, so he does have an opportunity to deal some damage, but Photon overcharge together with 2 Stalkers, making sure that he's not going to get anything. So, nice little attempt here at poke, but won't be doing too much.
Also, bear in mind that he didn't get the scout of that Twilight Council, which can definitely come into play here. That's probably one of the most important aspects of... Whoa! Gets into the mineral line here of State. Finds nothing, actually. However, gets that Photon overcharge, and of course, the big thing here being that scout, seeing that Stargate. However, Huck has got the Twilight Council finishing up at a 4th gateway being proxied right now.
Yeah, did he actually scout the Twilight? Yes, he did. So the question is if he's paying attention right now. There's some stuff missing in that base. Right now, State sending out his Adepts, kind of scouting around here, but Huck already starting to warp in those Stalkers. We go up to 5 right now, going to be on 4 gateways here. Very aggressive start in the first map between these 2 players. Seems like I just got an update, by the way. This is going to be the 3rd round in the winners bracket. Almost close.
Close enough. I mean, in StarCraft 2, I don't know if close enough cuts it at some times, because, I mean, we've seen so many close games recently. Now, is going to push up the ramp, force the Photon overcharge. Backs out of there, takes some hull damage, but right now, I mean, the Oracle, that is going to be the main issue here. He's going to find a probe or 2. No Photon overcharge here for Huck just yet. There we go. We'll shoo away the Oracles for now. And we'll have enough energy for a 2nd Photon overcharge. At the same time, though, a lot of pressure towards the main base of State.
Indeed, and here comes Huck. He's going to focus down that most core, and that's a bit too... Not really enough here in the base of State. So, quick little game here coming out.
We are going to get right into it, I believe.
Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We have our first play in top right-hand corner as the blue Protoss is going to be State.
And down here, we have his opponent in the red. It is going to be Huck. Now, in this series, the victor of this best out of 3 will face off against Peely, who last night, we did not cover that game, but he was actually knocked down into the loser bracket by Neeb, one of the players who actually made it all the way through the qualifiers there for the spring circuit. So regardless, I mean, it is going to be a tough fight ahead for whoever makes it through now from this round.
Yeah, I mean, it is going to be a very tough series. Of course, it's not as bad as the one Neeb had to play against Polt, of course. So do we... who's off the Peely? So it's going to be Huck versus State right now. So the winner faces Peely.
Yeah.
Above us also we have Scarlet versus Caliber right now. And the winner faces Jon Snow. So already the winners bracket kind of painted up here in front of us. We actually even have a few of the players like Neeb and Master doing really well in the what's to say, like the first and second section of the bracket as well. So a huge bracket today, of course.
Yeah, how many players is it? I believe that's a 32-player bracket here. We do have dual elimination format, so if you're out, you're not out. You will, of course, have a chance to make your way back, but it is going to be a lot tougher. And, well, for this game, Dusk Towers, we've talked a little bit about this. Full wall of fear for State. I like this a lot because it safeguards you versus any sort of adept harassment, makes it a little harder for your opponent to scout. They will have to go into Robo or Stargate if they want to get any sort of information, and it also covers very well if you want to be going for an expansion, but we're not seeing that just yet here out of State. Huck, on the other hand, though, sending a probe down already.
He is, and now he's gonna see what he can. Rather, he did actually send a probe just to scout before, and he did see the double gateway, so you gotta be careful, of course, of the double adept here. Now, Huck did decide to go for 2 stalkers right away. He's gonna have 2 more stalkers come out, so he's gonna have 4 in total very early on here. And it's actually a pretty decent way to deal with these adepts.
This is unfortunate.
Especially after the shade like this. You can actually start dealing some serious damage to one of these adepts.
I mean, it is going to be on cooldown now for a little bit. Good peel off it from State. I mean, he's trying, but one adept will end up falling. The second one, the one survivor, is sticking around in the third base here for Huck.
And behind this, of course, State's going to get his Nexus, so he's not going to try any kind of shenanigans that we did see from Huck earlier. Huck, though, still staying on one base. He's going to try to focus down the Adept here. And, well, the Adept does find that Huck is right now going for Twilight and a Forge.
Yeah, very interesting to do this off of the back of only a one-base economy.
Yeah.
Huck has money to drop down a Nexus, so should be throwing that down any second now. There we are. Good lad. I was a little concerned there because that's just a bit weird.
Whoa.
Huck with a Star Sense though. Oh yeah, he'd actually rallied these Stalkers. So finds the probe of State. That's a good pickoff.
Yeah, his Spider Sense was tingling and he knew something was up. So now we're going to see State decided to get this Robo, not going to try something super aggressive. Huck, though, getting Blinker +1 right away, so going to see a bit more of a Stalker-centric composition right away from him. But it doesn't mean the State, of course, won't ever get his Blink either.
I mean, we always see that eventually one player decides to take initiative with a rather quick blink or a quicker blink, and then if you want to be able to take a fight or contest in the mid-game, fight for that map control, you have to have blink of your own, unless you're going for some super big all-in kind of play. But for now, things slowing down a little bit. Robos being added in for both of our players. State with a slight probe advantage, but it's not going to be all that great really, because Huck, with his Nexus finishing up as well, will be able to play catch-up there in just a little bit.
And well, right now we're just kind of gearing up here. So we have, of course, I want to say, like, Huck, in my opinion, has always been a really strong player in the early and mid stages of PvP or like any kind of matchup, but mostly PvP. And I've seen so many of the highlights, you know, when you see Huck having like a few units, just microing them back and forward like crazy, trying to get every single ounce of value out of them. So I do like, and I kind of prefer to see him go for this kind of blink style. Now he's going to go into War Prison before his Immortal. So he might actually want to get out of the map here, start threatening his opponent a bit.
We have to see how many gateways he decides to commit to, because getting that Forge with the +1 upgrade could absolutely lend itself to some sort of committed blink attack here. However, he's still sort of just pacing himself as, there we are, 3 more gateways in production here for Huck. But I want to say that if he's going to be hitting a 2-base attack, it is going to be quite late, considering that State has had all this time to set himself up with the infrastructure. He's got the Immortal production on the way. So once this Prism finishes up, he should be going straight into that. Even Blink being added in here now. So Huck, he has to go if he wants to make something happen.
And he's already bringing his War Prism, which does have sentries in it. So if you were perhaps to go to that high ground, force field off the main, how do you, as State, get up to your main again? You do have a War Prism, but it's on the other side of the map.
Yeah, it's not going to help. Huck actually sees this, so he's going to be blinking in the direction of it, trying to catch it here. This is going to buy some time for State, which is the most important aspect. But the War Prism will end up falling, and that's all of State's map control basically lost. So he cannot go for the counter-attack right now. He is rebuilding that War Prism. Cancels it, though. Goes straight into another Immortal. This is what he needs to make the hold.
Yeah, the problem, of course, is that he knows the danger here, right? But the problem, of course, is if Huck gets a few units to threaten the natural, State goes down, and Huck then just goes for the high ground, you can definitely be trapped. You've got to watch out. But State right now going to try to deal with this great force field. Going to trap one of these Immortals. The Sentry's being focused down here. Huck, though, a bit stopped with the blink control. Going to lose one of his focus right away.
Yeah, very nice counter force fields, though, from State. Takes out the Observer as well. That pylon was blocking the Immortal's left-hand side a little bit, but it also threatened Huck's position. He couldn't walk up as bravely as he wanted to. Photon Overcharge goes down.
Ooh.
Pylon actually stays. If he gets this War Prism, that's going to be a pretty big pickup. Some miscontrol there, though, from State as he's on move command. Huck, again, going to be committing up. It takes down the Pylon eventually. Guardian Shield will run out. But now, Blink done in 5 seconds here for State. And he's effectively held this off. Huck is going to be forced to back off and take a third base of his own.
Yeah, going to charge is going to +2, and he was kind of thinking of getting a Robo, but double Stargate coming out from Huck instead, switching things up right away. And State, well, he's right now staying in his Robotech, so he doesn't have that much to really counteract this kind of Stargate tech.
Yeah, interesting choice here from Huck. I mean, we could see those Phoenix come into play, where you want to be picking up Immortals, picking up those Disruptors, taking them out of action. But for now, because the Gasters are going to be really late, if he wants to do anything else with it, it doesn't really matter. He's going to have a much smaller ground army. We even see that Templar Archives being added in here right now. So he will have to take gas number 5 and 6 very quickly here, because he is behind in terms of economy. 61 workers for State, 51 for Huck.
Yeah, I'm going to keep my eyes open, though, for that Fleet Beacon, because I do know that Drogo loves going kind of Stargate heavy on this map and then going to those carriers. But we're going to see the Phoenix actually talk about. We're going to see Charge finish up here. And with Charge, with these Phoenix, you've really got to watch out to State, because although you do have all these Stalkers, if we see an engagement from Huck, you're going to have to focus fire the Phoenix picking up your units, and you might actually lose way too much before you can deal with them.
It can get really difficult, especially with this +2. That's actually going to be a very big upgrade lead here for Huck. And State, I mean, he's got +1 on the way, but it's still going to be very, very late. Now, Phoenix have been revealed, so State, I mean, he knows what he's up against, and he's going to have to play it very carefully. We haven't actually seen any Disruptors in production. A ton of Gateways going down. He's adding in a couple of High Templars now, going to get those Archons, and they're great versus what we're seeing here out of Huck. The big threat is, of course, going to be, though, once the charge zealot numbers get a little higher, he'll still have to be very careful of how he engages out in the middle of the map.
And Huck right now, well, he's threatening an attack, but he can't go for it just yet. You need more than what he has, and he's adding up his gateways now as well. So both go up to this really heavy gateway count, and of course you can get these huge zealot warp-ins, so chargeless warp-ins, I guess, even. While, of course, it's all about who has the advantage when they do take that first engagement, because you have all these very valuable tech units that you can't replace that quickly, like the Immortals you're going to have in cycles, for instance.
Archon numbers here heavily in favor of State, though. Those are going to be very key. Bear in mind, Huck, on the other side of things, even though his army is a little bit smaller, composition not as powerful, because he doesn't have any Immortals to work with in the same way, at least not the same numbers. This +2 is going to be his saving grace. This is what he's going to be using to hold on versus the impending attack from State. He's looking for a 4th base, perhaps. Not going to find anything. A big zealot warp in here from State. I think he's getting ready to go right now.
You got to be careful, State, though, because if that warp isn't false, you have no way to warp in. But here we go, Huck right now, hiding his army in the back. State coming in with all these Archons. a lot of Immortals as well. All these charge shots in the front, very nice positioning here by State, forcing the double time warp, kills the warp gate, and then he just gets out another nice warp in, and he's just gonna wait for those time warps to disappear before he goes in again.
He starts +2 attack. It's not going to come into effect for the fight, of course. So Huck, with this +2 advantage, that is going to be quite important. A lot of his units not in combat, and there we go. Phoenix are going to commit forward, pick up most of those Immortals in the back. Another big warp in here, though, for State in the heat of combat. Will it be enough to push on through? This +2 helping so much for Huck, but many of his units still not fighting. They're just pushing up against each other there in the back, and the army supply here is slowly falling steadily for Huck. State with a pretty significant advantage. All of those Phoenix have been taken out, so there are no more lifts up to cover these Immortals. And I think he's going to be plummeting down in this game number 2.
Yeah, it doesn't look too good for Huck, and there we go. GG. State takes the second map, meaning he's going to tie things up. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Our first player in the blue, it is going to be State. He's on.
Are you ready?
I think we are. And, well, here we are, the red Protoss on the right-hand side. It is going to be Huck dropping out in game number 2 there on Dusk Towers. Stayed with a very well-executed attack. Valiant effort there from Huck, trying to use those Phoenix to change the outcome of the battle, but their tactical impact wasn't really that great at the end of the day. State just had too much stuff, too many Immortals, and it really comes to showcase that you need to have a staple backbone to your army, be it the Disruptors, be it the Immortals, or even the Archons in some compositions, but you cannot just rely on mainly gateway units in those stages of the game.
Yeah, I agree, and it's all about these staple units when we look at a PvP, because in the earlier stages, yes, you might see one player having more Blink Stalkers, etc., and we saw some really cool moves from, for instance, Puck there in a few games where we saw Stalkers kind of focus firing Immortals, etc., but as you say, we have these staple units like Immortals, Archons, tech units, and Disruptors, of course, who are so important, and these are the ones you got to keep track on in a PvP, because usually you can kind of see like, okay, one player has 2 Immortals, like now we saw Huck versus State. In these previous map, you know, we saw Huck having like 2 Immortals less in the entire fight, although he picks up a lot of Immortals from State, and although he is, you know, trying his best without, you know, having less units, it just doesn't work out for you.
He was actually, I think he only had like 2 or 3 Immortals actually, so he was down with the deficit was even larger. And then there was a lot of units trapped at the back, which of course is unfortunate. He backed off there into a bit of an awkward angle, trying to make the defensive fight there, but didn't really work out. Now, Stargate has started here for State, and Huck on the other side of things, he's just making these Stalkers now. And I mean, this has sort of become a staple way to open. You have these Stalkers use the Adepts for scouting and, of course, to safeguard your position. And then from there, it's very normal to see an expansion and then some sort of tech go down. Statham, though, I do like this, that he chooses to go for the quick Stargate. It is going to give him a little bit more control as we enter the early stages of the mid-game shortly. And Huck, though, he is scouting right now.
He is, and he's looking for anything and everything from State. State right now, making sure that, okay, my opponent doesn't have a natural. What do I make of this? And in comes the Monster Core, going to see the Phoenix being made, and
good scout.
Might force a recall here, to be honest.
Yeah, he actually might now, because I was thinking the Stalkers now, they can't, of course, attack, but then the Phoenix has been chronoed here for Huck, so he's going to give chase, and that means no photon overcharge.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. Here comes the Adept as well, going to cancel. Might actually be able to defend this.
I
no,
don't know.
No.
Okay, so how much energy do we have on that Mothership core right now for State? 50. Okay,
so one photon overcharge.
Yeah, but I mean, that's all he needs. At the same time, Huck is going to take down the pylon in the natural.
Wow, that's pretty annoying.
Yeah, it's a very nice find. And this actually supply blocks State quite significantly. 39 of 39 supply.
Yeah, he's going to have to wait for the Nexus to finish up before he's not supply blocked anymore. And that's going to hurt quite a bit. Now, State does have a few units, but with these Phoenix from Huck and having that extra one Adept, I think actually he could try to start going into this natural and start harassing a bit.
Yeah, behind this, we're actually seeing a pretty big transition from Huck, or from State rather. He's dropping the Twilight Council, starting Blink, and a Dark Shrine. Huck has seen this though. This is very important. These Phoenix giving him a lot of information, but he will have to get some sort of dedicated detection, be it cannons, maybe even a robo to go with this, but it's going to be very difficult because having an Oracle, I still think it's a little bit too unreliable in order to safeguard yourself versus Dark Templar, especially if they're split up.
That's true, and right now Huck doesn't want to take any kind of chances, so he's going to get a robo. We have to remember though that, oh man, State, you gotta watch out there. Mothership core goes down like nothing. And Huck's doing a pretty decent job here. He's getting a gateway in the front. We have to realize he never got a natural. And State is realizing this as well, of course.
Yeah, so right now, Huck is on a timer. This robo is not going to be done just yet. Force field to just slow things down a little bit. But State will have to give up this Nexus. The Phoenix are going to make things a little bit more complicated. Mothership core just pops out. Might have to photon overcharge. Goes for the frontal pylon. Quite smart. Takes out one of the Adepts here. But we have the first Dark Templar on the way. Blink is also soon going to be done here for State, and he doesn't have a lot of gas to work with, so you won't even be able to get too many Stalkers.
And here comes the first DT. The Observer not out just yet, but there's no way to unpower that in time, is there?
No, sir. So, I mean, Huck will have to dance around a little bit here with these Dark Templar, but Phoenix come back, picks him up, and even dies before he gets up into the air. So, great little attack here from Huck. Killing the Nexus, but he has to be careful because there is, of course, Blink for State. Whoa!
Yeah, oh my god, State not paying attention. Loses a Stalker right away, and here comes a big warp in from Huck. 3 more Stalkers coming in here, giving Huck actually quite a significant boost here in his army. Gotta see if it's enough though. Here comes the Phoenix. That's gonna be a big deal. Going to pick up at least one of the or 2 of these Stalkers. There we go. Getting 3 of them right away, picking up a 4th even. And very well done here by Huck, just cleaning slate with State.
That's a huge pickoff here for Huck. And even though State had that Blink, could not bring it to bear. The natural was cancelled for Huck, but he can just come in and reset it. It's going to be pretty simple here because now State, even though he has, you want to say that he has some better tech because he's got the Blink, he's got the Dark Templar, but the DTs at this point in time sort of fallen out of use really in this sort of game once there's detection out here. And there's not going to be any way for him to actually retake this natural.
And this, of course, is going to turn into a problem. As soon as Huck gets to start mining, State, of course, needs to get that natural because he's mining it out right now. And that comes the natural. So right now, State does have a pylon, but it doesn't have a warp gate next to it. So without a warp prism, it's going to take 2 years almost to warp in anything next to that. Now State, though, he's pushing out and he's getting ready to put on some aggression towards Huck, of course.
It's going to be difficult, though, because we have an Immortal on the production tab here. And, I mean, even though the army right now for State is a little bit stronger, I'd say in terms of Blink, because he's got that Blink to work with, it's going to be really hard. And this is a big pick-off here for Huck. He's going to find a couple of these Adepts warping in, and 1, 2 falls, trying to shade out of there, but every single Adept is going to go down. There's even a photon overcharge pylon here at the front, so State right now in a very dicey situation.
Yeah, and well, with the photon overcharge, he can't actually go in there, but remember, he still doesn't have that natural. He still has been producing units. He's not even saving up for that natural. So he's going to go for this. That's all he can do. Right now, there comes his second base, finally. But Huck is just in a really significant position. I mean, just look at the advantage he has in units together with these Phoenix. If he just pushes across and starts probing behind this, I mean, State's going to be terrified.
At the same time, you have to bear in mind that the Blink gives him a lot of mobility. Without any Blink, no way he could stay around this far out on the map. The Phoenix are going to swing in here, though, from Huck. Perhaps find him probe or two. Perhaps even getting this Mothership core. Baits the photon overcharge. Mothership core survives with
you
one
better go
hit
in
point.
there.
Yeah, you really want to get that kill. Oh, hesitating a little bit there. Photon overcharge is, of course, very scary, but at least he's going to find himself a probe or two. But the Blink Stalkers come back here for State. They will kill the Mothership core, but at the cost of 2 Phoenix.
Lost 3 out of 4 of those Phoenix so far. Huck right now getting his Oracle, though. I really like this, starting to be able to tag that army. You know where the Blink Stalkers are, so you know where you can go when we can't. Gotta wait for these rock towers, of course, to be destroyed for State until Huck can attack in here. But he's kind of being hesitant right now. He doesn't want to go in too far.
And brings him low, and Huck will finish the job. He's got the Observer as well, so he knows what waits for him on the other side. And with these 2 Immortals, they're going to be offering a lot of additional firepower from the back. Very strong units when your army, or your opponent's army, is just these Plague Stalkers.
And well, State right now going to try to hold this. This will be a very difficult one, especially without those low ground pylons. Huck right now focusing down that Nexus, but State, he's deciding that he has to hold right here. Nice pickup with one of these Stalkers, and just so many Immortals coming out here from Huck, cleaning everything. GG, and Huck is going to take this 2-1.